How's it going, folks? Mark from Like Minded Lunatics, and I'm here with my friend Rene Slatteper. Rene, how are you?
I'm doing great.
I am so excited you're here. So, folks, just so you know, I am a producer of a storytelling show here in Austin called Testify. Rene is one of our storytellers, and you've been with us twice. You're a fantastic storyteller.
Thank you.
And this last story you told, I want to make sure I get the title right. Let's see. Where were we at? Recurring Dream 2.0.
Yeah.
That one got posted right there this Wednesday. When you pitched this one to us, when we were in the meeting, the story meeting, it was like, I have got to show Rene Only Love Can Save Me Now.
Yeah, let's do it.
By the Pretty Reckless. So I gave Rene the background a little bit on Chris Cornell passing away, on Kato Kandwala passing away. So I gave Rene a little bit of that information. But I do want to see what you think about both the lyrics and the video itself, because I think this is just a very unique piece of art.
Let's do it.
I also think it might be one of the best descriptions of depression I maybe have ever heard.
I love it.
So we're going to have some beers, folks. I feel like we got to have a beer. We're going to have a big conversation. I'm going with a Fat Bat Hazy from, who is this from? Rene, I don't even, Thirsty Planet here in Austin.
Go.
What do you got?
Got the Celis Paddle Out IPA.
Oh, it's a good one. Well, folks, get something in your system so that we can cheers to the end of the week and the beginning of a weekend. Cheers, everybody.
Happy Friday.
Were you a Soundgarden guy back in the 90s at all?
For sure, yeah.
So Kim Thile's on lead guitar, Matt Cameron's on drums. That guitar to me, just, boy, it takes me right back.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but just whatever Kim is doing on that guitar is like a mind warp for me. And the riff to this, Kim has said in interviews that he was kind of not duplicating, but inspired by the riff he did for A Loud Love.
Okay.
From, I think, oh gosh, was it Bad Motorfinger? I think that was the album it was from. In any case, he was trying to channel that one.
Okay. Weird to hear a little fake drum on there.
A little bit, huh?
Yeah.
Falling out of the sky sends a message to you and I. See people crawling out of their trees, chained to sickness. The dogs are free. I wanna be saved. I wanna be saved.
So I'm going to pause it there because there is so much packed into those lyrics.
Yeah.
I feel like. So the first line, that first stanza, heaven's falling out of the sky.
Yep.
Now, obviously, that does have a theological, eschatological meaning behind it.
Yeah.
But I'm also wondering, so Chris Cornell did a song called Heaven to, let me see, Say Hello to Heaven.
Okay.
As a tribute to his former roommate, the lead singer of Mother Love Bone. I'm wondering when she sings Heaven's Falling Out of the Sky, if she's talking about Cornell.
Probably. I mean, could be.
One of the things I love about good pieces of art is ambiguity.
Ambiguity, yeah.
Because it could be read into it, but man, we got Kim Thile, we got Matt Cameron, and the first thing she does is Heaven's Falling Out of the Sky.
And I'm looking at chained to sickness, the dogs are free.
I'm glad you pulled up that line, or you thought about that line.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on that?
There's so much in that, especially as you mentioned, like, Soundgarden, and I'm like, oh, yeah, and then like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, there's a lot in that.
But it is a complicated lyric.
It's a complicated lyric. There's something, and there's a dichotomy, right, of being chained and then being free.
Ooh.
right? So there's two different sides to that.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
From the sound, the world is spinning out. Only love can save me now. Gone, so down, lost is all I found. Only love, love, love can save me now.
Now, thus far, we've only talked about the lyrics, but in the video, and I do think this is important, there are two tailors. There's one tailor that's all clad in white and is almost always in water, immersed in it.
Yep.
Then there's the tailor in the black top who it appears is playing with the water and toying with it.
Yep.
I don't know what to make of it. In the previous reaction I did, one of the things that occurred to me is that the tailor that's in white and is immersed in water seems to be the one that is drowning from depression. But as those of us who have suffered from depression know, part of the corrosive nature of it is that sometimes you feel safe there.
Well, what's interesting about that is when you're baptized, typically they tell you to wear white. So, like...
So maybe we have a spiritual element to it too.
I mean, maybe. There's something interesting in that.
Yeah.
Drowning madly in deep blue seas, waves of sadness swallow me. No soul can hear me beneath the weight. No gods or saviors, no hands of fate.
So can you see why when I heard your story,
yes.
I was like, holy shit, Rene, your story needs this as a soundtrack.
It does. Yeah, it's kind of in the background.
So when you walked on stage, I wanted Kim Thile to dum dum.
You were ready for it?
Dum dum. Oh. But yeah, that imagery, that water imagery. You know, in literature, one of the things that we study is that obviously the semiotics, the symbolism of certain things.
Sure.
And water is usually a life-giving force.
Yeah.
So like in T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland.
Right.
The water is what everyone's searching for.
Right.
And the author, the land is starting to be desiccated, water has gone away. But here, water is...
Yeah, water can represent lots of things. Renewal, right?
Sure.
So, like, that's one of the things that water can represent. But this here, like, waves of sadness swallow me. No soul can hear me beneath the weight.
No gods or saviors, no hands of fate.
God, that's just, like, there's something about that that's, like, choking, right? So, of course, we're talking about drowning, so...
Right.
Of course, we're going to think of that, but that there's something also that's choking to the soul. Like, no soul can hear me beneath the weight, no gods or saviors, no hands of fate.
The other aspect of it, too, is that it almost seems like comforting in a way. You know what I mean? Not in a healthy way,
Right.
but I understand this.
Well, that's, like, your own connection to it, right? So, like, that's, like... And I think that's why, like... Some of these lyrics, while profound, are still, like, poetically vague, right? For you to
Right.
take what you want from that.
Sure. And again, that is my definition of high art. If there's
Right.
ambiguity to it, it allows you to read yourself into it.
Which you connect to more. And even in, like, there's so many different, like, again, the dichotomies, even in the video and the visual representation of this, you know, we have these, like, we have her in this white who's just kind of, like, floating on the water, but then we have, right here in the black, we have these giant waves that are just kind of overcoming.
And crushing.
And crushing. Right, yeah, exactly. So
And
it's...
anybody who's been in actual big waves knows that is terrifying.
It's terrifying.
You immediately understand how small and insignificant you are when you get caught in a wave and in an undertow. Just whoosh.
Yeah, there's no fighting it.
No.
You're just overwhelmed.
I wanna be saved. I wanna be saved from the sound, the world is spinning out. Only love can save me now.
so you're, let's flip the dogs of war, and this, like, idea of love, and these two different dichotomies, and this whole idea of, like, I want to be saved. Like, I'm just, like, there's so many references in this where it's just, like, that you're drowning and you want to be saved, and there are no gods or saviors or no hands of fate. Like,
so I'm going to throw another reference at you that confused me.
Okay.
So when I first heard this, the refrain, like the bridge before the refrain is the sound that the world is spitting out. I first heard it as the world is spinning out.
Oh.
That's not the lyric. The lyric is that the world is spitting out. So the world is making that sound.
Yep.
The moment I realized that made me think of Macbeth. Act 5. After Lady Macbeth commits suicide, and Macbeth understands that the prophecy is coming true and his doom is upon him.
Right.
This is the famous soliloquy. Tomorrow, tomorrow, and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day to the last syllable of recorded time. And all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out! Out, brief candle! Life's but a waking shadow. A poor player struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot full of sound and fury, signifying nothing.
Yeah.
So in that, sound it's doom.
It's doom. It's signifying the nothing.
So when I realized that she was saying the world is spitting out this sound, the sound. It's like, are you kidding me? Are we going into Macbeth, like the darkest of Shakespeare?
Yeah.
Literally the cursed play.
This is the depths of it, right? This is the depths of that, again, that depression, that depth of, like, what, that human emotion. It's beyond raw at this point. It's just despair.
Despair. And you're sunk to the bottom of it.
Yeah.
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 I'm going to back up Kim's solo there.
Can you save me now?
Solos like that anymore.
I know, I missed them so much.
You just don't get them anymore. Like, that was epic.
I mean, that's a completely topic that's an aside, but I am on your wavelength.
Yeah.
Because the number of times that I've heard a song, I'm going to go ahead and shit on them. Imagine Dragons.
Sure.
It's the same wave the entire time. Like, there's no break. I want a break.
It's an equation. There's a bridge. It's not meant to do anything, but except it gets you to the final chorus.
Right.
Yeah.
Imagine Dragons don't make me think Imagine Dragons. They make me think sitting at the DPS.
Yeah.
Like waiting to get my license renewed.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this makes me Imagine Dragons.
This is like,
oh, it's epic as hell.
Yeah, there's musicality to it. That's beautiful.
Well, and there's something about the tone of that guitar too. I've talked to my friend about it, and tone of guitar is one of those things that's apparently just people chase it.
Right.
And Kim has a tone. Oh, did I mute it? Oh my gosh, Rene.
Bring it back.
The
Bring it back.
sound, from the sound, the world is spitting out. Only love can save me now. Gone, so down, lost is all I found. me now.
Yeah. But I think that there are like lots of different things that are happening here that are talking about these different dichotomies. We're talking about heaven, and we're talking about being saved. We're talking about being chained to sickness, and the dogs are free. And there's all these like different ways of going back and forth. But what it sounds like is even going in that back and forth is a form of hell.
Yes.
Right? So it's not necessarily like this pleasant experience that's happening here. There's no indifference.
But the thing that's so beguiling about it is that place starts to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's the thing that I always remember about bad parts of my life when I was really down, when lost is all I found, was that you want to get better, but then, but this feels comfortable. Like I understand this.
So there's a difference between like something being familiar and comfortable.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yep.
So, like, familiar is like, oh, I know how this is going to go, and I'm going to sit in this. Comfortable is like, oh, this makes me, like, feel okay and secure.
Ah, so I'm using the wrong word then, is what you're saying.
I mean, maybe. There's a difference between them. So if you think about it, like, it's like, is this familiar? Is this something that I understand and I know how it's going to go?
I should rephrase then.
I might find a sense of security in that because I know exactly how this is going to go.
Gotcha.
But if I'm comfortable, I'm like, oh, I feel safe and secure. So there's some interesting things going on.
Well, and that's similar to something that I heard or read Taylor say in an interview about this song and this album in particular, was that when she was going through and she was writing some of these songs, that she wanted to get better. But did she?
Yeah.
It was one of those things where she said that it felt like I understood what was happening and there was no point.
Yeah.
And I was just going to stay stuck.
Yeah.
And so, and I even brought the album out, folks, because I am a fan of this album. But the first 3 tracks on this are probably some of the darkest songs I think I've ever listened to. So that's the album, folks. Go buy it. Buy your music. But this whole album is essentially a progression, it feels like to me, of someone trying to work their way out of depression.
Yeah.
All the way up to the last song.
I mean, artists will do that. They'll set up their play. Like, the way that they set things up is like, I'm reading you this like anthology of like this moment of my life, and this is the way that it's gonna go, and this is why.
Well, that's the beauty of poetry, though, right?
Absolutely,
is that it walks you through the human condition.
The human condition, exactly. And so they may be like talking about these things early on, but then maybe towards the end they're just like, I made it through.
We made it.
Made it.
Yeah.
And it might not be this like celebration that we think that it is, right?
Right.
It's just like, well, I made it.
One of the things I tell my students, maybe you'll empathize with this, is that even if you limp across the finish line, you finished.
I always say, done is better than good.
Sure.
When I turn and work, I'm like, it's done.
It's done.
It's better than good.
Yeah,
So,
we made it to the end.
That's right.
Well, Rene, we made it to the end.
We made it to the end.
Did you enjoy this one?
I did. This was awesome. This was really great.
Like I said, when I heard your story, and folks, you have to go watch it. It's right there. You can go see it on the Testify channel. When I heard your story, I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Rene is lost, and that's all he's found.
Yeah, the drowning. Yeah.
The drowning. He's being pulled down. Thank God he found something.
Yeah,
though.
right. Exactly.
Yeah, his end's way more positive than this one, folks.
Way more positive.
Way more positive.
Way more positive. There's resolution.
There is resolution. Yeah. Well, folks, thanks for checking this one out. Make sure you hit the subscribe, hit the thumbs up. Go check out the Testify page and like that one. Make sure you check out Rene's stories. He's got 2 over there, and they're both fantastic. Thanks for doing this with me. I appreciate it.
It's great.
Take care of yourselves, folks, and we'll see you soon.